Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in your now moment. I just thought I would share this with you as I do it, and really to hold myself accountable for full moon in Aries. I thought I would do a little burning ceremony, but you don't have to be doing this for the full moon in Aries. You can be doing this for any full moon. Aries is associated with that fire, that inner spark. So it's a really good time to do this, but also fire and burning is something I have a burn list every full moon for letting go, and every new moon as well, to set that intention and transmuting that in a really physical way. I'm going to read you what I've put, or paraphrase a little bit of it if I can read my writing. Maybe you want to adjust what you write, but a little piece of paper, I find I have an A4 sheet that I fold and fold again. So I've got little pieces. If you've got a little notepad, it doesn't have to be huge. I've also got a bowl that I use, which is totally fireproof. And then my personal mortar, obviously, and I can stub out too. So that helps. It's really important when you do a fire ceremony. Obviously, some people they say do over sync, make sure obviously fire and health and safety. But the ashes, it's important to put them to ground, outside, to blow, to scatter to the winds. When you're working with the elements in that way, it's a symbolic representation and visual representation. So some of the questions that you might want to ask yourself are, what are the lessons I've learned over the last 6 months? And whenever you're doing this ceremony, so it depends if you're viewing this in your now moment. So what have I learned this last month past, or what have I learned this last 6 month cycle, or whatever cycle is beginning or ending for you, whatever you're letting go, what have I learned from what I'm about to let go of? What is the wisdom that I've integrated into my life now? I let go of my expectations, my desires to go to this, my desires, my expectations of that person being this, or my desires, my expectations of myself achieving this, and surrender this to the divine. And I'm thankful for the opportunities. I'm thankful for what this experience has gained for me, even if there's pain, even if there's sadness, even if there's resistance. Thank you for the resistance and showing me where I need to let go, where I need to do more work, where I need to focus or allow more. I'm letting go of where I've put on mine. I'm letting go of where the money's coming from, and accepting the unexpected, for expected and unexpected ways, finances and receiving, and that attachment of to receive bad, to give good. You need both in your life, in not just with finances, with energy. It needs to flow, and it needs to flow. So you can't hold on to all the money and not give, and you can't allow yourself to keep giving and not receiving. So it needs to have the cycle, the flow, the movement, like water. I accept from expected and unexpected ways. I expected it. And I'm ready to let go of my fears. I feel that that's been a huge lesson for me the past year. I don't know about you, in understanding that our fears are cords of attachment to expectations of things that we're not even aware of sometimes. Our fears show us our desire. So desire for health, desire for wealth, desire for companionship. The fact of needing to feel protected. When you let go of fear, you know that letting go of the fear in itself and hone in, standing in the love is the protection, because you're protected by your own belief of that. Like walking on hot coals, it's that mind over matter, you might want to think of it as. But your brain and your chemistry of your brain is so powerful. It creates, when we give someone placebo and placebo, it works both ways. If you tell people they're going to be sick and they need to be afraid of getting sick, they're likely to get sick. Vice versa. You take this, you're going to get better, they're likely to get better. And that's been proven time and time again. When you're giving diagnoses, when people are taking sugar pills. And I think this is really important to understand that psychology of that and the neurology of how our brain reacts to that. The body actually creates what it needs to heal. That's what happens when you give someone a sugar pill. So it has the capability of creating the chemical compounds in your body that it needs, that we would sometimes give and then recreate. That's why there's quite a huge proportion of people when they're doing drug trials. And if you look at the work of Dr. David Hamilton, he was a chemist. He'd done a lot of work with this and worked with people. And there's lots of people that I think it's 70% on the sugar pill will heal as the actual product. So there's only like a 10% difference. So, or something like that. It's really, really high if you believe that what you're being given is going to make you better. So our brain chemistry and our power of belief and manifestation and how we perceive things has a huge effect. It's not just mind over matter, positive thinking. We've been working with this since the 60s. On the reverse of that, with psychological warfares and all sorts. I mean, they know and understand how we can be affected. So it's worth knowing that and then allowing yourself to tap into that, which is why I call my vision board workshops neurological goal setting, because you are using your own brain chemistry and neuroscience to shift your physical body and changes within you. So letting go of those fears, it's that acceptance of you don't need to be afraid, the walking on the coals. So when it's a very powerful symbolic thing to burn that and to know. So, and standing in the fire, I have a visual meditation where you visually allow the fire to burn away that which is not needed, because fire it's considered quite I was telling someone this month about in a reading that you think of the fire as it can be ignited, it can burn fast and quickly, or it can be slow and steady, or it can actually obliterate and get out of control. It's that, and that form of energy as well, if it's honed in a candle for heat, in a stove to cook. It's a technology of cooking and heating food and stuff. It's our passion, our desire, our intent with that, and our knowing what we need and what we want, to communicating that through our own passions. And if that's done on the more positive side of that channel, that focus, that fire can create great things. But when you think of metaphorically speaking, fire burning things to the ground, the ashes rise, the phoenix rising up from the ashes, the growth that happens after fire is very, very, it nourishes, it nurtures, it creates that to start again. It's that death and rebirth cyclative energy. And so hang on, I'm reading my notes. I stand in my fire, my power, my focus of the spark, the opportunities, passion to go with what I love and accept and receive the worthiness of who I am. It's that I am presence, and accepting that fire, that ignition within. So I'm thankful for this and thankful for the lessons for the last 6 months. Thank you to those of you that view and watch me and that share my videos. I am really appreciative of that. It's why I do what I do, not for adoration, but to inspire, because that's my passion, to ignite that passion, or to remind you, to resonate in a way that I remind you of that resonating in you. And hopefully to have that spark within you that will light you up and know and remember that I can see myself for who I am, my most authentic self, and my shadows. And okay, so that's highlighting the shadows and maybe the beliefs and things that I am challenged by or that I want to shift. But by doing that, then you can start to get to work, which is what the following month of Scorpio energy, around that time of that shadow work, where that comes in. So for this burning ceremony, whatever time of year you're doing this, I always now put thank you, and may this be in the highest good of all concerned, and thank you to that part of me that's more than, to say, I hear, I see, I have clarity, I take inspired action, not just action, but inspired action. And I am open and receptive to the good. And then still bowl. Now I burnt on my little top of my thing today, so you can't see it now. I've just got the Hello Sanchez in there, but in there I've burnt some frankincense and resin. So I've cleansed the room even before, and now in the same way to do again. And I'm doing this inside. There we go. I'm doing this inside. Normally I would do this outside, but I already had a little fire. The other thing that I do now each month is any paperwork, anything that I have a little fire, so any like garden rubbish and refuges. But in a sense, I do this also in a ritual to say thank you. And again, those ashes go into the compost. So along with the food, tea bags and bits that can be composted to create, to go give back, so that you have that balance, and that will happen with this. So that fiery passion. And that's the other thing, you can feel like sometimes you have lots of energy. Sometimes people over the full moon feel that too much energy makes them feel tired. So I'm just going to do a little chant that I learned, I learned this from Yasmin Boland. She does really beautiful moon ceremonies as well. And I've been chanting since joining her chanting group last year, and to the goddess Kali, and this practice of chanting and sound sit really well with what I do or was doing with Matthias, with the sounds that we do and the frequency alignments we're working with daily, of the different sounds to create that vibration, just like you would. To create the brain state, the frequency of theta, beta, and delta. But you don't have to do that. That's non-essential. The song that I love to sing for this, let me see if I can get it up for the original artist. So this is a beautiful full moon chant written by Heather Houston and sang beautifully. I think you can access it on Spotify, if I'm correct, or on YouTube. So if you Google Heather Houston as well, check this out. But I just find this speaks from my soul. It's like she's singing the words that I would sing at this time anyway. So I'm just going to share this with you. Bearing in mind, I'm not a singer. I love to sing. I'm not testing that I can sing. So feel free to write these words down or to sing along. Repeat them or rewind and sing along from your heart. Allow the frequency of these words and the meaning to be like an affirmation that is kind of holding on you, coming in that fire, that passion as we sing. In the light of the full moon, I am love, offering my prayers to rise above through the thoughts and fears that hold me down, thriving on this earth as she spins around. In the light of the full moon, I am peace, offering my heart to be released from the things that no longer serve my soul, knowing now that I am whole. In the light of the full moon, I am love, offering my prayers to rise above through the thoughts and fears that hold me down, from thriving on this earth as she spins around. In the light of the full moon, I am peace, offering my heart to be released from the things that no longer serve my soul, knowing now that I am whole. Knowing now that I am whole. In the light of the full moon, I am love, offering my heart to rise above through the thoughts and fears that hold me down, from thriving on this earth as she spins around. In the light of the full moon, I am peace, offering my heart to be released from the things that no longer serve my soul, knowing now that I am whole. Interesting. Let that burn inside. I had to open it up. I think I'd folded it too deep. Also, it's in the fire. As you see the burning flame, the tool that goes in. Imagine burning away and transmuting, changing that which no longer serves you in your life. Flame burning around you in your life. How you see it as a fast fire, as a slow burn. And then it's down. Ash. And then that will go onto the garden. So thank you for your time, for allowing me to share what I do every month as part of our moon ceremonies. And you're welcome to join me for one of those. Each month is different. I am an artist, designer, meditation teacher, and I'm training to be a Qigong and energy therapist. So all of those aspects of the things I love and do, I share. I do a little bit about astrology, show you how you can look up your chart and how that energy might be affecting you, depending on what time of year it is. So, but this is something you can do every full moon. So thank you for your time. This is how I set my intentions in a ritual form. It's not done in a completely ritual form that this is my way of doing stuff. It's influenced very much by Wiccan culture and American Indian culture and the modern spiritual aspects of what I do, as well as the science behind knowing that by doing that physical act, that's helping me to come to terms with letting go of something. It's a way of allowing yourself to go through a process and a protocol, if you like, to become the right mindset, to shift in increments. So thank you. I'm Tracy Jande from Love Authentic Me in YouTube and Facebook.